Good afternoon, everyone. It's Steve Lookner with Right Side Broadcasting. We are coming to you with breaking news right now. A train has derailed, an Amtrak train has derailed off of a railing, off of an overpass, you can see in the picture right there, onto a highway in Pierce County, Washington. Again, an Amtrak train has derailed this morning about an hour and a half ago. I believe it was 10:40 a.m., hour and 45 minutes ago, and that's Eastern time. It was about 7:40 Pacific time in Pierce County, Washington. The train somehow came off of that track on an overpass and fell onto cars on a highway, and there are fatalities. Authorities have said the fatalities thus far are restricted to people on the train. No deaths from people that the train came on top of, but there are fatalities from this accident, and we're going to get you the information as soon as we can get it to you. So again, Amtrak train derails, Pierce County, Washington, somehow came off of a overpass of a track, a raised track, and fell onto cars on the highway. So give us a second here. We're just getting on the air. We're going to get you information on this as fast as we can get it for you. So let me get you the latest. And fatalities are reported. So far, the fatalities restricted to people on the train and not people who are there are definitely injuries of people who got hit by the falling train, but no fatalities among those people. So let me show you real quick. Let me just try to get you confirmation that this was on the I-5 or near the I-5. I heard the I-5 is now closed there, but I'm trying to get you confirmation of what the road is that the what the road is that the train fell down onto. Okay, here's a little. So Amtrak train derails, dangles over interstate in Washington State. It's shut down
sure
the
that
I-5.
It's sound and safe.
Oops, sorry,
if it isn't, that would pose a huge problem for southbound.
It was on the I-5. So the Amtrak train, and this train was on its inaugural run. This was the first run of this train with passengers. I had heard people on TV saying they should have done test runs, so I'm guessing they did test runs. This was the first run of this train. I think it was called like the Cascade Line or something. I'll get that information for you. It was near Tacoma, Washington, and several vehicles on Interstate 5 were struck by derailed train cars tumbling down from the tracks. The Sheriff's Department spokesman Ed Troyer said multiple fatalities on the train. He didn't say how many there were. It was Interstate 5 southbound near DuPont, about 50 miles south of Tacoma, was closed after the derailment. Again, it took place around 7:40 local time. The train had left Portland heading for Seattle. The derailed train was derailed. I got to tweet that out. Derailed train was heading from Portland to Seattle. This was the inaugural run of this train. Dozens of first responders swamped the scene. And there's a little bit of dog barking in the back now. If you can hear it, I'm not sure if you can. I very much apologize for it. That's something we can't control it right now. We'll look into it after outside the studio. So I apologize for that. Okay, so again, Amtrak train derailed this morning, 7:40 Pacific, 10:40 Eastern. There are fatalities. The train came off of a raised track and tumbled down, some of it at least, tumbled down onto the I-5 freeway. This is 50 miles outside of Tacoma. The train was going from Portland to Seattle. It was the inaugural run of this train. It's crazy to think that a train that they were developing now in this modern day and age, that they wouldn't test it enough, that something like this wouldn't happen if it was an accident. Now, maybe it wasn't an accident. Maybe it wasn't just like the train just came off on its own. Maybe the train struck something. Maybe it was sabotage. So in that sense, it might not be the fault of, Amtrak. It might have been that the train struck something, or there could have been some kind of act of sabotage or something. We just don't know right now in terms of the cause of this. Let's see. Here's another picture. This was posted by ABC News. Give you another idea of what this looks like here. Wow, it's just crazy. That's the I-5 there. And as I said before, multiple fatalities. The whole train is not fallen down. Several cars fell down. And it's just a crazy scene there. I-5 is shut down. And it looks like, if I had to guess, that bridge looks like a good, because that budget truck looks about at least 12 feet high. So that bridge looks like it could be around 25 feet high, like twice the budget truck. So just people falling off of that bridge would be very dangerous. But falling off into train, onto cars, upside down, that kind of thing. Just a really terrible accident there. We're covering for you live. If you have any kind of updates on this, give me a shout on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. I'm going to keep bringing you the latest news that we can bring you here at Right Side Broadcasting on this. And let's see here. It was an Amtrak train. It was Pierce County in Washington State. Let's see here. I'm just trying to get you more information. Here is the clip of that press conference where the sheriff's spokesman announced multiple fatalities. I'll play that for you. This is from the ABC tweet.
It's early on, but do you have any idea when you say multiple fatalities, does that mean dozens or does that mean...
At this point, we're just told there's multiple fatalities. What that means, I don't know. I've heard a lot of different numbers, so we're not confirming anything until somebody does it.
He said a lot of different numbers. He also said the fatalities right now are only on the train itself. There are people definitely hurt because the train fell onto cars, onto that highway there, onto I-5, but no deaths of the people in the cars. Let's see here. Oops, sorry. I didn't want to have you. I'm looking for a couple different sources here. Give me 1 second to check a couple different sources and try to get you more updated information on this accident in outside of Tacoma, 50 miles outside of Tacoma. Here are some photos from the Pierce County Sheriff. Let's see here. There's one. Look at that photo. That really gives you a good idea of what we're looking at here. It's amazing that this happened. You can see there's a car hanging off. I think you can see a car on the ground there. Train cars definitely fell onto the highway there. But also, it looks like above the car that's diagonal, there's another car like facing the other way. So very confusing scene here. You can see emergency personnel on the scene. How would this happen? Now again, it was the inaugural run of this train line with passengers on it. This train line had not run before. So does that have anything to do with it? I mean, I would assume it had been tested, but maybe not tested with all of those passengers on it. But maybe it hit something. Maybe this was sabotage. Don't know. There is a shot of the train. The Cascades line, you can see right on the train, it says Cascades line. So this was the Cascades line. Washington State Department of Transportation is on there. It's an Amtrak train. It was heading from Portland to Seattle. And this is what happened. Now, it looks like, it's hard to say, but again, what was happening, it was going over this small bridge here. That's where it happened. Wow, look at the train car upside down. You can see in this picture, see at the top it says Cascades. That is an upside down train car. I got to say, this is really terrible. If this train was very crowded, hopefully it wasn't, you have to imagine incredibly, we already know there were deaths on the train, but you have to imagine anyone in this car that hit the ground upside down. And and trains and Amtrak trains, I don't even know if people wear seatbelts these days. Maybe they do. I'm not sure on that. But if they weren't, I mean, just think about everybody. This is all serious injuries, I would have to imagine, people in this car that landed on the ground. Hopefully there were not many in this car. But it's the Cascades line. And you can see here it says Cascades on the side of the train. In this one, you can see it says Cascades there. Hold on a second. Cascades on the left there. Well, one of these cars you can see in this photo is on the ground, turned upside down, having fallen, 20 or 25 feet or whatever onto the ground there on the highway. So just a really bad scene there from Washington, Pierce County. Let me try to get you some more information here. Again, I apologize. There's a bit of a dog barking noise outside the studio. We can't control it right now. I will look into it after and hopefully get it fixed for you for future broadcasts. And more pictures here. Some more pictures to show you. Look at these pictures. Wow. There is a... You know, it's like, it looks like this happened. I'm just guessing right now, but maybe what happened is, you know, the train came off near this bridge, and maybe like it was going toward the bridge, and then the first car came off, and then a few more cars came off, and then it stopped because the back of the train is still on the bridge. But I don't know. I can't tell. I would assume the front of the train is off the bridge, not the back of the train. But maybe I'm wrong about that. I can't be sure about that. And you can see a car all the way in the background. I mean, look through the bottom of the bridge there. And you can see a car on the ground. Now, that's right side up, but that's back there. So a number of cars. And we already saw, you can see a car upside down here. You can see like the middle of a car or something, I believe. A train car, I mean. I'm talking about train cars. So there are definitely multiple train cars on the ground because we see one right side up here. We saw one upside down in a previous picture. So what an awful sight. A train, again, the Cascades line of Amtrak making its inaugural run with passengers from Portland to Tacoma somehow got derailed, fell onto the I-5 freeway. There are deaths from people on the train. No deaths reported yet from people who were struck in cars below the train, but there are injuries, of course, from this awful incident. And we're just trying to get you word on a cause and just more information here. And there you can see another picture there. This is a big train, too. And, you know, we're focusing on the trains that are off the track, but there very well could be serious injuries or deaths of people. Depending on how fast this train stopped, we have multiple cars, it looks like, still on the track. If this train stopped really quick and it was going really fast, you can imagine very serious injuries or deaths possibly on from people who were just on the cars still on top of the track. And this is a large train, too. I don't have numbers exactly on how big a train this was yet. I'm going to try to get that for you. All right, so some awful pictures there. And hang on one sec. Just checking some more sources here. If you have updates on this that you hear, give me a shout on Twitter, at Lookner, at Lookner. Reuters is now reporting that 77 people transported to hospitals. 77 people transported to hospitals. So we know there are at least 70 injuries and or fatalities. I would assume these people were all not dead when they were transported to the hospitals, but I can't be sure about that. 77 people transported to hospitals. That is from Reuters. That is just in. At least 3 passengers have been killed, according to BNO News. So we have some numbers here. At least 3 passengers have been killed. At least 3 passengers have been killed. 77 have been transported to hospitals in this horrible accident where this Amtrak train somehow got derailed and came down from this bridge onto the I-5 freeway. You can see right there, that is a shot of a car completely upside down. Just a horrible accident here. Let me just do a quick thing. Have been killed. Okay, so yeah, and I don't know, I believe I saw there were at least 2 train cars on the ground because I've seen a picture like this of a train car upside down. And I've also seen a picture of a train car right side up on the ground. So I know at least 2 cars came down on the ground. And there's that also train car that's hanging off too. So, you know, by the way, look, the numbers here are at least 3 dead, 77 injured. To me, if that doesn't go higher, that's good news because look at all these cars. You know, we can imagine, it looks like there could be so many serious injuries and deaths from the pictures we're seeing. So maybe because it was the inaugural run of this Cascades line, perhaps it was more lightly, the train was more lightly filled than it might be in the future. Let's hope that that's the case. Okay, just trying to get you more info here. Okay, this is new. There were approximately 78 passengers and 5 crew on board. There were approximately 78 passengers and 5 crew members on board. Initial reports are some injuries are reported to the passengers and crew and taken to local medical facilities for treatment. So we have 78 passengers and 5 crew members on board. So that's 83 total. So if you look at that number, and then you look at that probably several cars or trucks on the ground were struck with cars, that shows you very high percentage of people involved in this were injured, because 78 passengers and 5 crew members, okay, that's 83 total. And then let's imagine, a number of cars and trucks might have been hit on the ground. We've heard 3 deaths and 77 transported to hospital. That is quite a high percentage, it seems like, of people who were either on the train or in cars struck by the train. So it looks like a large percentage of people who were on that train might have been injured or killed in this, because we're just looking at the numbers right now. But that's new news there, that 78 passengers and 5 crew members were on board. We've heard total, including people on the train and on the ground who might have been struck by the falling trains, 77 transported to hospitals and 3 confirmed dead. Those numbers could change. This was Cascades Train 501, operating from Seattle and Portland. It goes between Seattle and Portland. It derailed south of Tacoma, Washington. Let's see here. There's a number there. Individuals with questions about their family and friends on this train should call 800-523-9101. And the I-5 is shut down where the train came down on top of the I-5 freeway. See if we can get you more updates here. Again, I apologize. I won't keep saying this. There's a bit of a dog bark in the back. That's something we cannot control right now. We will deal with that after. If you have updates, give me a shout on Twitter, @Lookner, @LOOKNER. Environment NJ Britt says, no seatbelts on Amtrak normally, and yes, it's a new routing for the Cascade service. So this was the initial run of this train. If you do send me a link, please just, if you can, send me a little description of what's in the link. If you just send me a link, I don't know what's in the link. And just send me a bit of a description, if you can, a short description as to what's in it. Okay. Amtrak has posted on their Twitter account this tweet. They say, and from individuals with questions about their friends and family on train 501, I guess this was train 501, should call 800-523-9101. Two hours ago, they posted, we're aware of an incident involving Amtrak train 501. They haven't really posted much information. Well, they say update. Let's see what their update was. This was an update from an hour ago. Their update from an hour ago says Amtrak trains, Cascades Train 501, operating from Seattle and Portland, derailed south of Tacoma. There were approximately 78 passengers. 78 passengers and 5 crew members. We've heard more updated information than this on terms of, we heard that there's 77 people transported to hospitals, 3 confirmed fatalities. Additional updates will be posted when available. Amtrak regrets any inconvenience. Okay, so let's try to get you more info on this. Again, 3 deaths confirmed, 77 people transported to hospitals. No word yet on a cause. No word yet on a cause. Here's a little video I'm going to show you right now. This was posted on the CNN Twitter. So let me show you this. This is the CNN Twitter here. And let me play this for you. If I can get it up on the screen. Again, this is CNN Twitter. Let's check that out again. You can see somebody driving by in the train there. What a terrible scene. So that it fell down on one of the sides of I-5. You can see the traffic there backed up. And I'm going to try to show you where this is on a map. We can probably see the traffic situation there too. So we're looking at Pierce County, Washington. This is where this happened, in Pierce County, Washington. It's south of Seattle there in Washington. Let's go close in on it a little bit and get more information here. Well, if I have to find out where exactly this happened. Traffic. There it is. So that looks like where, I'm guessing that is where this happened, where those red road closed. So this is here. You can see I-5 here is where this happened. That's I-5 in Pierce County. You can see it's south of Tacoma, and you can see that where it's red, that's where the I-5 is closed right now due to this train accident. We don't know the cause of it yet. We don't know. For all we know, it was some. It could have been. Everything's open right now. Could it be some sort of sabotage? We don't know. Could it just be an accident? Yes. Could it be some kind of collision where it hit some sort of car or some kind of obstacle on the track? It could be. So to sum up, let's just go over the facts we know right now about this train that crashed. It was Amtrak Train 501, Cascades Tri-Train 501, heading from Portland to Seattle. This was the initial run of this train line with passengers on it. It derailed south of Tacoma, on about 50 miles south of Tacoma at 7:40 a.m. Pacific this morning. Several of the cars fell down onto the I-5 freeway and struck vehicles on that freeway. There are 3 reported fatalities, reportedly all on the train. At least right now, 77 people have been transported to area hospitals with injuries. There were 78 passengers on that train and 5 crew on that train. That is what we know so far. And we're trying to get you as up-to-date information as we can get you right now. And if you have updates on this, give me a shout on Twitter at Lookner, and I can share those updates with our audience. And let me see also, just getting a couple more sources up here. So give me one sec, guys, just so I can get some more sources for you guys. Okay. Do one more thing here. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. Just need to get a couple more sources on my screen that I would have more, so I'd have more information for you. Here's a little bit of a picture. Oops. Well, they deleted that picture, so I can't show it to you. Here's another shot from the AP. Oh, that's this picture. Sorry, you already have that on your screen. Just looking for updates here. Again, no word on a cause yet of this. Sean sent me a tweet from the Pierce County Sheriff that said several cars on the I-5 were struck by the derailed Amtrak train cars. I wonder if there's security footage of this anywhere, or if somebody had a dash cam that might have captured this. I have not seen any video of this actually happening yet. Multiple motorists were injured on the roadway, but no fatalities of the motorists on the roadway were reported. The fatalities right now are all involve people on that Amtrak train, part of which, several train cars which fell onto the highway. Let's see here. Here's a report from NBC News. They say the NTSB is launching a GO team to investigate the Amtrak passenger train derailment in Washington, and the team will depart in Washington, D.C. today. Jeremy Miller says, if your numbers are correct, all but the deceased were transported to hospitals. Well, the thing is, we don't know how many, there were 78 passengers and 5 crew. But I think, but we don't know if all the passengers were injured, because there might have been, a number of there might have been a number of injuries from people on the ground. So, it sounds like at least most of the people on the train were injured, because if there are 78 passengers and 5 crew, and we've heard of, that's 85 people, and there are 3 dead and 77 injured, that's 80 people. That sounds like most of the passengers. However, the problem is, there might have been 20 or 30 people on the ground injured. So I can't really give you a percentage of how many passengers might have been injured, or how many passengers might have been not injured. And maybe there might have been passengers who were injured and treated at the scene and not transported to hospitals too. So we're a little fuzzy on the number. At least right now, it seems like at least most of the passengers on that train were injured, just given the numbers we're hearing. And that's not surprising given the scene, the photos we're seeing of the scene. Environment NJ Brit sent me this. Now, he says, I can't confirm this, but he says this is, or he or she says this is a typical interior of a rail car, the rail car involved. I wonder if they have a site for the Cascades line, but that looks like similar, Amtrak cars I've been on. And I was saying before, I don't remember being, I used to take Amtrak a lot when I lived in the Northeast, and I don't remember wearing a seatbelt. Maybe I'm wrong on those trains, but if people weren't wearing seatbelts and then cars fell off a track, especially cars, there was at least one car that was upside down, that hit the ground upside down, it looks like, or at least is upside down now, and people weren't wearing seatbelts. You can imagine the disastrous injuries that would happen. Let's see if I can find anything about this Cascades line online. Here is the home page for the Amtrak Cascades line. That's the line that crashed. And now it serves Portland and Seattle, but it also looks like it goes all the way up to Vancouver and down to Eugene. But this train today was going reportedly from Amtrak. Amtrak said it was serviced between Portland and Seattle. Let me confirm that. Hang on a second. Let me just do this. Yeah, they said Amtrak, this was operating from Seattle and Portland. Oh, it says from Seattle and Portland. So I don't know. This train, for all I know, the whole line of the train reaches all the way from Vancouver to Eugene. So I don't know if this train was intended to go farther. Maybe it was headed to Vancouver eventually. I don't know. But it was definitely heading from Portland to Seattle. And it's the Cascades line. Nothing on the Amtrak Cascades site about this yet. And... but I think there's something on the Amtrak website about it. Let's see. Amtrak. Let's go to their website. They definitely posted on Twitter about it. They say service disruption south of Seattle. And then it's the same announcement we heard before. This is the same announcement we read before from Amtrak. All right, let's try to get you more up-to-date information here on this terrible train crash in Washington. And a really big question is, why did this happen? Here is a photo, looks like, of a treatment area there from Reuters Top News. As we said before, 78 passengers and 5 crew. But you can see there are tents set up right near where the train derailed. It looks like those are some sort of emergency treatment tents. So I'm guessing that's what those might be there. But that's from Reuters Top News. That is in Washington, in the Tacoma area. You're watching Right Side Broadcasting's live coverage of the train derailment in Washington State. If you want to know when we're coming on the air with our breaking news updates, we come on the air all the time with breaking news. Subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell when you do, and to get notified. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at RSB Network, and you can follow me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. I post about breaking news all the time. And please message me if you hear updates about this story that we haven't reported yet, then I can share them with the viewers. Amanda, one of our viewers, Amanda, says, this is interesting, I live in Thurston County, Washington. The accident happened in Nisqually, Nisqually. The bridge was recently built in the last few months. I would love to get confirmation of that, Amanda. I don't know if you know the name of that bridge, Amanda, but one of our viewers, Amanda, is saying that the bridge was built in the last few months. That would certainly be relevant information, I would think, but it would be at least something that investigators would look into. But I can't confirm that information from one of our viewers. Let's see if I can find anything here. Thanks for writing in, Amanda. Now, I'm seeing a report about a bridge in Nisqually that wasn't built, but that was cleaned and painted. That's 2014. So that's just wrong. I'm wrong about that. Anyways, that bridge doesn't look like it was built in the last few months. It looked pretty old. Is it possible it was repaired in the last few months? Because when I see the pictures of that bridge, I see like a lot of dirt and graffiti on it. Anyways, but Amanda, give me a shout back if you have more information about that. I'd be interested in hearing on it. Norway for Trump. Hi, Norway says, is there any word on the speed of the train at the time of the accident? I have no information. I've heard nothing about the speed of the train at the time of the accident. Ooh, let me see if I can get something up for you on the screen here. We might have something to show you. That's not it. Let's try this. Hang on one sec here, folks. Nope. Just really trying to get more updates here. The Seattle Mariners have tweeted out, our thoughts and prayers, the baseball team, our thoughts and prayers are with all those impacted by this morning's train derailment. Thank you to the first responders for doing everything you can do to help. So, limited information right now on this train. Oh, is that true? Hang on one second here. I have I think another detail to show you here. Now, I'm seeing this. I Stand With Trump sent me this. Jake Wittenberg from King 5 Seattle says Amtrak website indicated last known speed was 81 miles per hour before crash. I have not seen this on the Amtrak website, but this is a reporter for King 5 Seattle, and he says that he saw on the Amtrak website that the last known speed was 81 miles an hour before the crash. I don't know where this speed reading was taken. I don't know if it was right before the crash. Was it a mile before the crash? I don't know, but that at least is some information. We're looking for more information here. This was sent to me by Environment NJ Brit. He said on the Amtrak website, he said, this is the new Northeast Corridor interior on the Amtrak website. He found this, and he said you can see there's no seatbelts there. And so I was speculating that there maybe would not have been seatbelts on this train car, this Cascades line. I can't confirm that, though. But of course, if there are no seatbelts and a train derails and falls off the tracks, you can just imagine people bouncing around the car, just awful scene of people being thrown around the car. Let's see here. Chris Yates says, I'm watching the Cascades Line safety video on YouTube. No mention of seatbelts. Also of note, the over compartments is just a shelf so that all of that would fly freely in the event of an accident. So what you're saying, Chris, is as far as you're aware, you saw a video. Now, I can't confirm the accuracy of that video and whether that video represents the car as it was today, the train car. But you saw a video of the Cascades line where it seemed to you that the compartment where people put their luggage over the seats may have been one where it's not like a compartment with doors on it and it's kind of just a shelf. And what you're saying is if that compartment was just a shelf as it is in the video, that luggage could have fallen on people too and hit people, very heavy luggage, when the trains derailed and overturned, fell down, that kind of thing. Even the cars that didn't fall off, you can imagine if there was a very sudden stop, luggage could have fallen down and or people could have flown out of their seats as well. Okay, Amanda sent me an update here that says December 2017. Amanda, is there anything on here about the bridge here? That's what I'm looking for. You sent me an update. A sign bridge? Let's see. Maybe you're writing again. So one of our viewers lives in the area and says the bridge was not brand new. They'd been working on it through summer and fall and recently finished. Mounts Road is exactly where it happened. So one of our viewers, Amanda, who lives in the area, she says it happened at Mounts Road. And she says this construction, I-5 Mounts Road to Center Lane, was going on for the last few months there. And she was saying there, now I don't know if this is what she's talking about. In the coming weeks, crews will install a sign bridge near Center Drive on northbound I-5. So I don't know if this bridge is the one. I mean, that's not a new bridge. I don't know if it's so the question here was if this is where I cannot confirm this is where the train accident was, but if it was where the train accident was any of the construction on that bridge that the train fell off of, and might that have anything to do with it? I can't say, but it's an interesting thought, and thank you, Amanda, for sending that in. If you hear anything else, Amanda, let us know, please. So again, Amanda, our viewer, claims this happened in Nisqually on Mounts Road. And let's see here. Hang on one second here. Yeah, so Amanda, our viewer, says this happened in Nisqually on Mounts Road. And if you go to Mounts Road on Google Maps, it's right where the accident did happen. Mounts Road is right there. So that's Mounts Road. You can see it on your screen. I can't confirm this is the exact place where the accident happened, but it is where the I-5 is. And it is, it says DuPont, Washington. Although maybe Nisqually is the name of like a neighborhood or something like that, but there is a Mounts Road in that area where that accident did happen. Here's another shot, a close-up shot of that bridge, of the train car leaning off the. One car train leaning off, one train car on the ground, and one car in the back. And at least in those photos, at least in that photo. Does the Seattle Times have anything updated? They say at least 3 dead, fell onto Interstate 5 near Olympia. It was the inaugural run of a new service. Yes, we have confirmation. This was near Mounts Road, between Lakewood and Olympia. So Amanda, our viewer, was right. This was near Mounts Road. 78 passengers and 5 crew members were on the train. 3 of the passengers have been killed. 77 people transported to hospitals. The hospital says, Providence St. Peter's Hospital says we've had 3 critical patients out of a dozen that we've received so far, according to the Seattle Times. Again, Providence St. Peter Hospital has received 12 patients and says 3 of them are critical. The traffic is really backed up because because of, it happened on the I-5. And it says, there's a quote here. Chris Thomas, spokesman for Providence St. Peter Hospital, says, because the traffic is so backed up, a lot of the EMS responders are taking patients to hospitals in Tacoma. Okay. According to Washington State DOT, the train was running down a new bypass created to avoid slow curves and single-track tunnels. Okay, that maybe seems relevant. Whoa, okay. Look at this. According to Washington State DOT, the train was running down a new bypass created to avoid slow curves and single-track tunnels on the BNSF railway mainline tracks. The project rerouted passenger trains to an inland route. Monday morning was the first time Amtrak trains used the new Point Defiance bypass route. Wow. Okay. This was the first time that this train had used this new bypass route. This seems like very important information. I want to tweet this out, actually. So give me 1 second. So I'm going to tweet this out. This seems like very important information. So this quote, the train was running down a new bypass route created to avoid slow curves and single-track tunnels. So this was a new bypass that they had just created, and I wonder if that's relevant here. And what else did they say in this article? They said Monday morning was the first time Amtrak trains used the new. It was the first time the trains used the route. That's amazing. Hold on. So I'm just tweeting this out. Seems potentially important. Again, this article said the train was running down a new bypass created to avoid slow curves and single-track tunnels. Monday morning was the first time Amtrak trains used the new Point Defiance bypass route. So that seems like an important piece of information there. And I had not heard that yet. And so that's from the Seattle Times website. And I'm wondering if that could have had something to do with this. I don't know, of course, but that seems like something that investigators would be looking into. And give me 1 second here, real quick. I want to just say this again, because I hadn't heard this detail yet, and it seems like an important detail. According to the Washington State Department of Transportation, the train was running down a new bypass route, created to avoid slow curves and single-track tunnels. And they say Monday morning was the first time Amtrak used the new bypass route. It was the culmination of a $181 million project that began in 2010. Now, for all we know, the new route had nothing to do with this crash. It just seems like possibly relevant that a crash like this happened on the first time that this train took this bypass. And again, the bypass was created to avoid slow curves in part. That was one of the reasons it was created. So to keep the train's speed up. And check this out. The change was supposed to reduce the length of the trip by 10 minutes and separate Amtrak trains from freight lines that frequently cause delays on the Point Defiance route. I really hope it doesn't turn out that this new bypass that was created is what caused this accident. Last week, Joint Base Lewis McCord posted a warning on Twitter saying trains traveling at about 80 miles an hour begin running on the tracks along the JPLM I-5 corridor on December 18th. Boy, I wonder if I can find that. Joint Base Lewis. Let's see if I can find that. Where is that? It says Joint Base Lewis McChord. Can I find this on Twitter? Because I would love to see that tweet where they say trains are going to start running today on that bypass route. There it is. Wow, look at this. This tweet refers to, I think it's the new bypass. We found the tweet. The new route, the derailed train. Come on, folks. Started traveling on today, including a new bypass where the derailment happened. Look at it, it says high-speed trains begin running Monday. That's what it says there. So they were starting to run today. High-speed trains starting to run today on this new route. So you got to wonder, you know, I don't know. I have no idea, but it certainly seems like this is a possible connection to the accident, given that the train had never traveled on this bypass before, and the bypass was this new bypass had just been created, and this is where it happened. Now, if it says high-speed trains begin running Monday, does that mean they didn't even test the high-speed trains before? Because if they were testing the trains on this line, on this bypass, wouldn't you not post high-speed trains begin running today? Wouldn't the high-speed trains have been running before then, even without passengers? So I'm wondering now if they even tested the line on this bypass. Wow. So that seems like relevant information too. Things seems to have, our graphics froze up. Everything froze up here, guys, for a second. Okay. Hey, guys, so what I need to do is I need to, it's going to take me about, the program froze up I'm using. So I need to take about 15 seconds. Give me about 30 seconds to just restart the program. I'm not going anywhere. So in a second, you're going to see me disappear or the screen freeze. Don't worry about it. Also, after that happens, you might see like an advertisement pop up on your screen. That sometimes happens. When that happens, just go to skip ad and it'll come back to the broadcast. So the broadcast isn't going anywhere. You might see it like freeze for 30 seconds or so. And then when it comes back, you might see an ad pop up on your screen. If the ad pops up, just go to skip ad and skip it. Or you can watch the ad if you want. I don't care. But we're not going anywhere. I just need to restart this program right now. So give me about 30 seconds, okay? About 30 seconds. I'll be back. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to restart this so we can continue the broadcast and I can show you everything. So there's a little bit of freezing going on there. So don't go away. I'm coming back in about 30 seconds. I'll be right back. Don't go away. Okay, we are back. I apologize to you for the delay. We're back here covering this breaking news here about this train derailment in Washington. And again, I apologize that we had a bit of a delay there. We just had to restart the program, but we are back. One other thing I need to do, guys, just give me 1 second here. The Facebook stream, I think I need to start up again. Let me see if that's still running. I might have to restart that because the Facebook stream does weird things. Let's see. Am I still on Facebook Live? I'm going to check that right now. You might hear my voice in a second. Hang on a second. Be right back. Don't go away. Let's see here. Let's see what happens. I'm just making sure. Of course I need to restart the Facebook stream. That'll take all of about 5 seconds here. So give me a second while I restart the Facebook stream, and then I will get back to reporting the news to you. Again, I apologize for the little delay. We just had to restart something here. And then I will get you the latest updates on this train situation. So we have a train in Washington derailed, fell off a bridge onto I-5, And 3 dead, 77 injured so far. Just getting this Facebook stream started again, then I can talk to you again. This will take 1 minute. Okay, that's that. That's that. When I restart the program, the Facebook stream stops, so I have to start it again. That's working, and all right. I would say about 5 seconds. I'll be all done here and be able to start reporting again, thank goodness. Now, when I last left you about a minute or so ago, what I was talking about is this information I hadn't seen anywhere else. And what that information was is in the Seattle Times article about this, they had mentioned here that the train Monday morning was the first time the trains used a new bypass route. According to the Washington State Department of Transportation, the train was running down a new bypass created to avoid slow curves and single-track tunnels. And also, look what it says here, Monday morning was the first time Amtrak trains used the new Point Defiance bypass route. So this was a new route, and then also we saw this tweet from, where is it here? Joint Base Lewis McCord, and whoever they are, they said, hey, look, high-speed trains begin running on Monday. And they're talking starting December 18th. That's today. And they're talking about this new route with the new bypass on it. And I was wondering, whoa, does that mean they weren't even testing the trains on high-speed trains before today on this route? So I don't know about that, and I don't know if this information is relevant. It seems possibly relevant, but it's pretty interesting to see that. And let me now, so if you have any updates on this, give me a shout on Twitter, at Lookner, at Lookner. All right, let's see if we have any more information here. Governor Jay Inslee of Washington, I believe it's from Washington. Let me make sure of that before I post it. He posted, today's tragic incident in Pierce County is a serious and ongoing emergency. A serious and ongoing emergency. Trudy and I are holding in our hearts everyone on board and are praying for the many injured. Let's see here. He says everyone should avoid traveling I-5 in the area, and Washington State Department of Transportation is working to open alternative routes through the area during the emergency response. This morning I spoke with my cabinet officials, and we are in touch with Amtrak and Tramtech, who we are working with to provide as much information as possible. Now, Pierce County Sheriff is saying that they have not released injuries or fatalities numbers, but we have multiple media sources saying 3 dead, 77 transported to hospitals. By the way, somebody made a donation a little while ago, and I missed it because I was so busy dealing with some stuff here. So whoever made that donation, thank you. The donations do keep us on the air. We use them to stay on the air, so thank you for doing that. Amanda, our viewer, writes in and says she lives in the area and she believes that no trains have been running in the area during the construction to build this bypass. And, she said they were working on construction in the area through the summer and fall where this happened. Here is a shot of some traffic from the I-5 in the area. Of course, not surprisingly, delays. We're seeing long delays on both southbound and northbound I-5 near the DuPont due to the train, because there's a train on the I-5. I-5 will remain closed for an extended period of time. Here is also a tweet from something we were talking about. Well, now, Zeke Miller tweeted this out. I don't know if this tweet, when it says local officials had warned of dangers, I don't think they had warned of dangers from derailments. Because the dangers they were saying is from people stopping on the tracks. That's what this tweet is. This tweet is about derails from people. Danger. I'm going to tweet this. I'm going to reply to Zeke Miller. I think the local officials, the dangers they had warned of were not derailments. They were like from people stopping on the tracks. So, because if you look at that tweet that I just posted, I think the reason I replied to Zeke Miller is I don't want that in. I think it's important to not have that information out there. Oh, hold on a second. I'm going to delete that. I wanted this tweet up there. Hang on a second. Let me delete this. I don't want that. I think it's. I don't want false information getting out there that people think local officials warned of derailments, because I don't believe that's true, and I haven't seen that anywhere. And I think Zeke Miller might have gotten a bit mixed up. I believe the derailments, the dangers warned of were not derailments. Rather, it was of people stopping on the tracks. There we go. All right, things are better now. Hopefully somebody sees that, but I don't believe that the dangers. I think when the AP says dangers were warned of by local officials, it might be referring to that tweet I had already retweeted, which says, "Hey, these trains are running, so don't stop on the tracks today." And that would be warning of danger, but it wouldn't be warning of derailments. Okay, new numbers. 90 people sent to hospitals. 90 people sent to hospitals. Now, at least 70 were sent to St. Joseph Hospital. 20 were sent to Madigan Army Medical Center. So, Kiro at least 90 people sent to hospitals in train derailment. Because Kiro is saying at least 70 were sent to one hospital and 20 were sent to another hospital. That means at least 90 people would have been sent to hospitals. Just make sure the sound's working here. Because good, okay. All right, so the mayor of Lakewood predicted an accident. All right, I got to delete my tweet. Hold on, I'm going to read this and delete my tweet to Zeke Miller, because I think it's wrong. Delete. Check this out. Breaking 911 is saying this. Breaking 911 is saying, Amtrak train on new route. All right, look at what Breaking 911 says in their report. 2 weeks earlier, the mayor of Lakewood predicted a deadly accident, KOMO reported. Lakewood mayor predicts deadly accidents from high-speed train service. Look at this. City leaders gave a chilly reception to a new high-speed rail plan for Amtrak trains that starts running later this month. The idea is to use sound transit tracks. Hold on. Where is the stuff about the mayor? The mayor of Lakewood believes it is just a matter of time before these high-speed trains kill someone. He asked the DOT presenters to do better. Mayor Don Anderson said grade separation such as overpasses should be included to keep trains away from cars and pedestrians. But that makes it look like they weren't worried about the trains derailing, or was it? Because this was an overpass. Yeah, so this makes it look like they're trying to avoid grade crossings where cars and trains are like meet. So that's a little confusing because if that's the case, then it looks like to me what they were warning of here is not the train derailing, but rather the train hitting cars where it was on the same level as the cars. And that's not what happened in this derailment. So that wouldn't be relevant here. So I love breaking 911, but reports that they warned of a derailment, I am not really seeing that out there, and they're borne out in the actual facts. Anyways, okay, let's try to get some more information for you here. Let's see. Elisa Hahn reports 78 passengers reported to be on board, but hospitals gave no breakdown on how many patients from the train or how many from cars from the highway. Madigan Hospital accepted 20 patients. Madigan Hospital accepted 20 patients, 9 serious but stable, 11 are in fair and stable condition. I'm going to retweet that. So at least of those 20 that Madigan accepted, it seems like nobody's in critical, which is good. This is Right Side Broadcasting's live coverage of the train derailment in Washington, trying to get you the latest information. I have some more photos. Oh, do we see these yet? Yes, more photos. I think, no, we already saw those photos. Oh, I have these photos here. I hadn't shown you these yet from the Pierce County Sheriff. If you're liking our broadcast, subscribe to us on YouTube and click on the notifications bell so you can get notified whenever we come on the air with breaking news. Also, feel free to share this video on Facebook and like it on YouTube. That really helps spread the word that we're doing these broadcasts. And thank you so much to our moderators for moderating today during the broadcast. We got Barbara Braley and JC in the chat room on YouTube and on Common Sense and Gleno on the website. So here are some of these pictures that I hadn't shown you yet from the Pierce County Sheriff. Looks like part of the train, I guess, train wheels that are separated from the train. That's kind of crazy. Shows you what an impact the train had when it hit the ground. I mean, look at that. Whatever that accident was, it was so powerful it made those train wheels come off. Unless they just pop out when the train doesn't have anything under it. I don't know if that could be the case too. Wow. Well, they don't because it's not happening there. And again, this shot, just a crazy pictures. Awful scene there. Give me 1 second, folks, real quick. So one piece of information that we're talking about here, which I think is really important, that I want to repeat again, is this one. That and again, I'm not seeing, I have some mainstream media on the background. I haven't seen them reporting on it, but this just feels really important to me that according to the Seattle Times, Monday morning was the first time Amtrak used this new bypass route. This bypass route had just been constructed, and the train was running down a new bypass created to avoid slow curves and single-track tunnels. And we saw a tweet from, where is it here? That's not what I wanted. I wanted this tweet. From JB Lewis McCord, Joint Base Lewis McCord, which says, high-speed trains begin running Monday. This is where this was going to happen, today. So for all we know, it sounds like they hadn't even tested running this train on this line, and this was literally the first day that this train ran on this bypass, this kind of high-speed train. Is that why it crashed? We don't know, but it does seem like relevant information that investigators would want to look at. So is it possible that somehow something was wrong either with the way this bypass was built that the train ran on for the first time today, or is it possible that the bypass was okay, but that the train operator wasn't operating the train correctly for that new bypass? And to repeat, this tweet says high-speed trains begin running on Monday. And so does that mean they didn't even test it? I would hope they would at least test it. But if they were testing it, then why would they tweet out high-speed trains begin running Monday? Because they would have been running before Monday. So that seems like important information, at least to me, that will probably be looked at. Well, I can almost assure you it will be looked at by investigators. But something I haven't been seeing reported on a lot, so we wanted to report it for you. This is from KATU. They say this. Amtrak train that crashed was going 81.1 miles per hour before derailment per site that tracks train speeds. Maximum speed in that area is 79 miles an hour. So it looks like the train was going above the maximum speed. This is from KATU News. It looks like the train was going above the maximum speed. Not a lot above the maximum speed, but above the maximum speed. So that is new information. If you have new information, give me a shout on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. Let me know. BLB Reed writes, there must have been required tests unless they were skipped. Running probably means with passengers, but doesn't mean there wasn't sloppy testing before the first passenger car carrying train ran. So what you're referring to is, I saw this tweet from Joint Base Lewis McCord that said, high-speed trains begin running on this line Monday. And I was saying, well, does that mean they never tested it? And you're saying, well, they must have tested it. But if they tested it, then this tweet shouldn't have just been about Monday, because that would mean that there were trains running on this track before Monday at that speed. Now, look what it says. It says nearly 80 miles an hour on the tweet. It says nearly 80 miles an hour. We just saw that other tweet that said the maximum speed in the area is supposed to be 79, but this train was running at 81.1. Now, I don't know, maybe when that tweet said the train was running at 81.1, that means it was running at 81.1 a little bit before, and then it slowed down. So I don't know, this tweet here I just showed you. Oops, hang on one second. What I'm saying is, this tweet here I just showed you. I want to clarify this. It says 81.1 before derailment. I want to say, not sure if this 81.1 speed was at the moment of derailment or a bit before it hit the derailment site. Because it could have been at 81, maybe the last reading was 81.1, but that happened a little bit before the bridge, and by the time it hit the bridge, it was at 79. So we just don't know that right now. I don't know that. See what other information we can get you here. Susan Kindly says Como 6 is saying 6 are dead in the train derailment. Let me see if I can confirm that. Yes, 6 are reported dead now. 6 are reported dead. AP, citing U.S. official, says 6 killed in Amtrak train derailment. So we are now seeing a report of 6 dead. 6 dead now in the Amtrak train derailment. Six dead. I want to actually change the headline if I can. Hang on one sec, folks. I'm just updating our headline on the actual broadcast. Ooh, I know what I have to do. Sorry, one thing. Want to put the state in there. There we go. So we have 6 dead and at least 90 injured in this Washington Amtrak train derailment. You're watching Right Side Broadcasting's continuous coverage of this train derailment. If you have updates, give me a shout on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. And subscribe to us on YouTube if you want to get breaking news updates from Lightside Broadcasting. If you want to get these breaking news videos and know when we're coming on the air, we do these videos all the time. So 6 dead, 90 plus injured. BLB Reed writes, so Steve, has there been no talk at all of sabotage or terrorism? This is being presented solely as an accident. Just curious about this. No, I've heard some in the mainstream media saying, no cause yet. You have to consider everything. So I've heard some people talking about it. Sure, we don't know what the cause is right now, so anything would be on the table. I was just pointing out that it does seem like a possible cause, certainly, that this was the first time this train line was using this newly built bypass route. That would seem like a possible cause, something that investigators would look into. But I don't know. Could it, at this point, it could have been a lot of different things, including sabotage. We just don't know yet. Where is... I'm trying to get you... Ed, somebody sent me... Mel B sent me a link to some traffic cams, but I can't find... I'm trying to find the actual cam where this happened. Let's see. Here we go. See if I can pull up these traffic cams. Well, one of the traffic... Oh, there it is. Wow. How about that? This is the traffic cam from the department, from the state traffic cam, Washington State Department of Transportation. And you can see in the distance there the train hanging off. All the way on the right in the back, you can see the train hanging off. That's Mounts Road, I-5. And back on the right, you can see the train hanging off there. That's a shot from 2 minutes ago. So the I-5 is closed in the area, we had heard. Michelle thinks that the death toll will go up as some of the people who went to the hospital pass away. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but we'll let you know if we hear anything on this. Joan Brown says, if you look at Google Earth Pro, you can see equipment working on the new bypass as imagery is from 2017, the southernmost crossing of Mounts Road Southwest. All right, so let's go to Google. Let's see. Unfortunately, I can't do that and show it to you right now for a reason I can't get into. Well, let's see. Let's try. I don't know if I can. There's technical reasons I can't do this right this second. So, but there was construction going on in the area because they were building that bypass that the train was going on. Okay, I got some new footage from you guys. Here we go. Rebecca Perry says, first aerial shots from Sky King. It's been grounded until now by weather. So we have some aerial photos of the incident here. Wow. Look at, there's a pickup truck there that looks like the train landed on a pickup truck. Look at this shot right here. Oh, what an awful shot. And there, wow, that really gives you a sense. There, look at the number of cars. There's one car like across the track. How is that one car laying across the track diagonally? How did that happen? And look at all the cars behind it. It looks like I don't know how far that. I don't know if that's the last car we're seeing, but just a crazy accident here. If it was an accident, but you have cars on the ground and also one car laying across the tracks there. I'm going to retweet this out. So some crazy shots there. This is new. This is new news. Hold on. Let me show you this right now. Rebecca Perry is reporting. Preliminary signs indicate the Amtrak train may have struck something on the track before going off the track. That's the first we've heard of that. Preliminary signs indicate the Amtrak train may have struck something on the track before going off the track. I'm going to retweet this right now. That seems quite important. Again, Rebecca Perry, she is from King 5. She said an official who was briefed on the investigation says preliminary signs indicate the Amtrak train may have struck something on the track before going off the track. I had not heard that before. So we seem to have multiple possible causes just even on the table right now. We have construction going on in the area that had built a new bypass that the train was traveling down for the first time. Could these be related? Is it possible? This was the first day that the train was traveling down this bypass. Could there have been something left over from the construction? I'm going to tweet that out. Hang on a second. Let me do this. What I want to do here is this was the first day the train was traveling on a newly constructed bypass. Any chance some equipment was left over from the construction? That's just a thought I had, is They had been doing this construction. The construction finishes. This is the first day the train's traveling over there. Could there have been something left on the tracks there that just wasn't removed, and that could have been what it hit? I don't know. Just a thought. Just a thought. Hang on real quick. So just a thought I had that, again, this seems like a very important tweet here from Rebecca Perry. Preliminary signs, an official who was briefed on the investigation says, preliminary signs indicate the Amtrak train may have struck something on the track before going off the track. And so that could be a cause of this. I mean, I would think if it did strike something before going off the track, that would be a cause, or the cause. But what would it be? And I was just wondering, could it have been construction equipment or something related to the fact that they were just constructing and had just opened this bypass? I don't know. All right, let's try to get you more updates here. President Trump has tweeted about this. President Trump has tweeted about this. I'm going to show you his tweet. President Trump said the train accident that just occurred in DuPont, Washington shows more than ever why our soon-to-be submitted infrastructure plan must be approved quickly. $7 trillion spent in the Middle East while our roads, bridges, tunnels, railways, and more crumble, not for long. Now, I'm guessing some people will say in response to this, well, we don't know if the bridge had anything to do with this crash. So don't be surprised if you hear people say that. Some people might say, well, what if the crash was caused by, a truck that was parked on the bridge or something like that. But anyways, President Trump does seem to want to get his infrastructure plan moving, as he says in this tweet. And I'm going to retweet this. So that is from President Trump. This is Right Side Broadcasting's live coverage. We're doing continuing coverage of the Amtrak train derailment. 6 dead, 90 plus injured, at least 90 injured. We are trying to bring you the latest information on this. Some of the information we've been talking about is, one, that the place where this happened was a bypass track that had just been built. The train was traveling on it for the first time, at least with passengers today. That's one piece of information. Another piece of information we brought you is that an official who was quoted by a reporter that we just posted. Who was this person? Let me call it up here so I don't steer you astray. It was a reporter that we saw recorded an official saying the train might have struck something on the track. This was Rebecca Perry, who says the AP is reporting an official briefed on the investigation says preliminary signs indicate the Amtrak train may have struck something on the track before going off the track. We don't know if it did, but certainly those two possibilities are on the table in terms of something wrong with the new bypass or something on the track. Of course, sabotage is also, of course, a possibility too until they rule it out. If you hear of any new info on this, give me a shout on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. Now, what is this? What is this tweet? This person says, Chris Carnes, the train hit a truck apparently. I am fine, but the train is destroyed. This is from 3 hours ago. Unconfirmed report from the time of the derailment that the train hit a truck. This is unconfirmed. Chris Carnes with Tacoma Transit tweeted out the train hit a truck apparently. He tweeted this out 3 hours ago when the accident happened. Was he on the train? Look, was he on the train? He said, wow, this train is fast. Once you leave downtown Tacoma, it's now 79 miles per hour to Portland. We are passing up traffic on I-5. Oh, and he posted this. Wow. This person was apparently on the train when derailment happened. See other tweets. Now, if he's on the train, he said apparently, so he didn't see it happen, but he heard it from people there, but maybe he got bad information, so we can't confirm this. But this is somebody, Chris Carnes, at Tacoma Transit, who was apparently riding on this train. Check it out. He posted this 3 hours ago. He said, wow, this train is fast. Once you leave downtown Tacoma at 79 miles an hour to Portland, we're passing up traffic on the I-5. And then a little while later, he said, the train hit a truck. Apparently, I am fine, but the train is destroyed. And then he posted this. Train has derailed. Emergency crews are on the scene. Massive damage. People are hurt. And he has not posted since. I wonder if he replied to that tweet anywhere. Nope, no replies. So it's interesting that he posted that. He had heard that the train hit a truck, but we just don't know that. Here is a tweet from Courtney O'Brien. It says, asked why there are still no seatbelts on the trains, former NTSB managing director says investigations of past derailments found seatbelts were redundant, wouldn't have prevented injuries. That's from Courtney O'Brien. I don't know if that's the case. I am not familiar with that research. Personally, I'm thinking there might be something where they calculate how much seatbelts would cost to install and maintain, and it's some big number of dollars, and they say, okay, given that, how many injuries are they likely to prevent? And they might just say, well, in the big scheme of things, that money is not worth the injuries. Obviously, if it was $1 billion to prevent one injury, you wouldn't spend that money. It wouldn't be an efficient use of money. But I don't know what that calculation is, but it's possible that they calculate injuries saved. I would think they'd calculate like injuries and lives saved versus amount of money. But perhaps they feel it's like somebody decided it was a really huge expense too big an expense to maintain and install these seatbelts, given the few injuries you might save if they calculated few. So I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. By the way, a good source of information that I'm checking regularly is the Reddit live stream. So if you search Reddit live, and you can, they just have it's like a tweet aggregator. That's one of the sites I'm using. So it's a good place to look for one of the sites I look for information. So feel free to follow along that yourself. It looks like this. Want to give them a shout out. That's the Reddit live feed right there. That's where I saw that last tweet. If you have updates, give me a shout on Twitter, at Lookner, at Lookner. Norway for Trump says, good journalistic job today covering the train wreck story, Steve. Thanks, Norway. Good hearing from you. Hope everything is good where you are. let's see here. Now, James L. sent me this, that somebody named Ian Miles Chong said, an Antifa group sabotaged a railroad track in Portland last month in solidarity with another Antifa group that had their protest barricades torn down. But no word on, I've heard nothing suggesting yet that today was sabotage. But, right now there's no word on the exact cause. So and that, it is an area where we have seen, protests, frequent protests from left-leaning groups in the Pacific Northwest. But at the same time, like them sabotaging a train would seem to be like a new level. And I'm not, that's something I'm not going to believe happened until I have convincing evidence that it actually did happen. So David Carson Hopper says this. He says this about the claim that seatbelts wouldn't prevent injuries on trains. He says it's true, seatbelts can't be flagged on impending instability, unlike aircraft, which have systems to predict or monitor shifts in wind direction. When catastrophic train derailments happen, it usually is unpredictable and sudden. So I think what he might be saying is something like, when you say seatbelt signs can't be flagged on independent instability, I'm not sure, like, if it means something like the seatbelts can't get locked up or something because they can't tell when accidents are going to happen. But does that happen in a car? So I'm a little uncertain on the reasoning here. Maybe if he's watching, he can post something to clarify there. Or maybe somebody else out there understands a little better what he's saying and can explain it to me. Oh, Hank Hill told me President Trump posted another tweet about the train crash. The second President Trump tweet, he says, "My thoughts and prayers are with everyone involved in the train accident in DuPont, Washington. Thank you to all of our wonderful first responders who are on the scene. We are currently monitoring here at the White House." So President Trump has now tweeted twice about the train accident. And the first one you can see here, the train accident that just occurred in DuPont, Washington, shows more than ever why our soon-to-be submitted infrastructure plan must be approved quickly. $7 trillion spent in the Middle East while our roads, bridges, tunnels, railways, and more crumble, not for long. The president sends out a second tweet about the train derailment. Okay, trying to get you some more information here. So in terms of possible causes, just to go over some of what we know, we do know that this was the first time this train was traveling on this route. There had been a bypass route constructed. Very recently, this was the first time this high-speed train, in any kind of high-speed train, was traveling with passengers on this bypass route. It was the first day. Don't know if there was testing of this train with this amount of weight on it on this route before, but today was the first day on this route. As you can see in this tweet here from Joint Base Lewis McChord, high-speed trains begin running Monday. So that's one possible thing investigators will look at. Another thing is that we saw a report that this train might have been going 2 miles over the maximum speed. That's unconfirmed. Another thing is that we saw a report that an official familiar with the investigation said that there are some indications that the train might have hit something on the track before derailing. I'll show you that tweet from Rebecca Perry. Official who was briefed on the investigation also says preliminary signs indicate the Amtrak train may have struck something on the track before going off the track. So we have lots of different theories on why this might have happened. No confirmed cause of this right now. We are waiting to see if we can get more information for you. If you have more information, give me a shout on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. You're watching Right Side Broadcasting. Subscribe to us on YouTube if you want to know when we're coming on the air with these breaking news videos. We do them all the time. Thanks to our moderators so much who've been moderating the chat room today. We really appreciate it. LT says he wrote to me about the president's 2 tweets. And he said, regarding the first tweet, the president probably should have waited till the report was done. Might not have been an infrastructure issue. His second tweet was much better. And as we pointed out, the president in his first tweet said, this shows why we need to... I'll show you the tweet just real quick, just so you know what we're talking about again. This is the tweet we're talking about. And I had mentioned... when the tweet was posted, I said, well, I think some people are probably going to say, he's saying it shows more, this derailment shows more than ever why we need to submit our infrastructure plan quickly and have it approved. And I was saying, well, I'm guessing some people will say we don't actually know the cause and whether the infrastructure actually was part of the cause of this crash. And one of our viewers said that he thought the second tweet was better because the first one, because we don't know yet about exactly why this happened. Unless the president has some inside information. I don't know that. Michelle Davis writes, when I first saw the placements of the cars, I immediately felt the train hit something. It wasn't the tracks that caused the train to derail. The first car hit something. That's what Michelle Davis thinks. Trains are designed to separate. The rest went off the track due to law of motion. So some people are messaging me about this. I have no information that this is at all connected to the accident, but Mike Cernovich, who is a right-leaning journalist, has posted on his site that, and I'm just saying right-leaning so you know where he's coming from, but he has posted things that definitely turned out to be true. So you can go to his site and check this out. He posted Antifa group back in April boasted about pouring concrete on train tracks. They deleted the post, but the URL remains, and you can read the archive post here. This is from April. No information this is related to the accident today, but if you want to read about this, go to Mike Cernovich's Twitter. It's at Cernovich. You can see it on your screen, and you can read more about that there. So he has posted on this, and if you're interested in it, I encourage you to go to his site, and you can read more about it.